All right, I'm here with one of my Chronoso MVPs, Keithy Langston. Keithy, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, handsome? How are you?
Good, good. But we're not here to talk about 1980s or now 90s wrestling. We're here
No.
to talk about the current day. In Chronoso, you've talked about many classic Intercontinental Championship matches.
Absolutely.
I believe this is only the third or fourth one on a PLE this year, but that doesn't really matter anymore because they
Yep.
do a good job of kind of revitalizing the Intercontinental Championship, in my opinion, the last few years. Overall, what's your feelings on the current day Intercontinental Championship scene?
I love it. I love it. I actually loved that Jey Uso won the championship and then they quickly pivoted back to Bron Breakker. I thought that was great. I think that obviously with Braun being like the guy that he is right now, I think this is perfect for him. I don't know if he's ready to move to the next level yet. I really hope that they don't have that. I would love to see him have kind of a, not as long as Gunther, obviously, but I'd like to have him see almost like a mini Gunther run with this, where he's just like dominating and just, you know, every pay-per-view or every premium live event, he's out there defending the championship. He's on Raw every week. He's defending it on any house show, you know, things like that. Like, let it become the workhorse title, as Adam Pearce said about the Women's Intercontinental Championship that he just announced on Monday. Let it be the workhorse title once again.
Yeah, I think they're in a good spot for that, right, Keithy? And I feel that Breakker is the perfect guy after Gunther. You know how it went from like perfect to Brett, but you had like tornado in between, right? So I feel that it should have elevated perfect, but it did such a good job elevating Brett and Sean, and it did such a good job elevating Gunther recently. I feel Breakker is that next guy that this belt should elevate, and it will and should. I don't want like a carbon copy run like Gunther, so I'm glad, like you said, I love how they gave it Jey Uso for those 6 or 7 weeks or whatever. That was perfect. So there's a little hint of vulnerability with this Bron Breakker character. They established that in the Sami Zayn match in Midsummer, I think Money in the Bank, where he kind of was too aggressive and it caught him.
Yeah.
So I liked how he has that like Goldberg aggression and dominance, but he's like young and he's like a baby deer a little bit, right? Where he's a little too aggressive and he kind of gets caught, right? So he's not wise. Maybe perhaps he might get wise with a wise man one day, but he's not wise within his like arsenal of speed, agility, and power. So he's a vulnerable champion. And out of either one of these guys, which one do you think is more likely to kind of take advantage of that vulnerability from the dominant Bron Breakker?
You know, if they didn't give kind of a feel-good run for Jey Uso, I almost would say Sheamus, because I know that they really drove that home. Was a couple weeks ago on Raw when he was like, this is the only thing that he's never achieved in the company. And so it's kind of like that. Thank you for your service. You kind of give him this run. I don't think that that's going to happen. I mean, it's just, it doesn't make any sense for it to be for anybody other than Braun to win this match. I do think that there's going to be, because there's been shenanigans with both title defenses now that have taken place on Raw. I think there's going to be shenanigans afoot in this match as well. And it's very well possible that maybe a fourth person gets involved and kind of comes in and costs somebody, you know, a shot at something. And, you know, and that could very well be maybe a particular returning former tag team partner who, you know, may have a little bit of a score to settle. I don't know if I'm not up to date on the Imperium whole deal, but I mean, is it possible that, you know, there's a chance that Giovanni Vinci comes back or not? I don't know.
Well, he was shown with Carmelo Hayes on SmackDown as like a backdrop. I think he lost to Apollo Crews twice. And other than that, besides a few cool vignettes, the Italian Playboy is kind of out of that Imperium verse. But I always kind of felt that was a calling card where he could. But he's so defined down right now that would kind of surprise me. But it's a 3-way match, so there's no rules, so anything could really happen.
Well, that's kind of where I because I can sense that because I know there's tension between Ludwig Kaiser and Gunther kind of a little bit, and I don't know if they would run the same gag twice and have shenanigans be afoot in that match against Damian Priest and Gunther, but I have a trajectory for Gunther that doesn't involve him being the world heavyweight champion. So there's a possibility that maybe the entire rest of Imperium breaks down, but I kind of foresaw a little bit of maybe some interference from a fourth member, and that being Giovanni. And if that's the case, having him be the one that costs Kaiser, having it be kind of like that scramble at the end where maybe Sheamus gets knocked out, Breakker's kind of on the outside, Kaiser he's ready to pin Sheamus, and then you have the whole, screw job finish, and then, Breakker comes in and kind of hits this finishing maneuver or whatever on Kaiser, and that's the end of it. I don't know. That's kind of how I foresee it, but if there was going to be an upset in somebody actually defeating Bron Breakker, it could be Sheamus, just because they want to give him that final notch in his belt almost.
Yeah, not that the stage is big enough for Sheamus, but I felt that they would have presented the table a little bit more. And if Sheamus was going to do it, I feel like it wouldn't be in a three-way. I feel like it would be kind of presented on a big stage, one-on-one, a decisive win, because he's earned that. Sheamus is fucking awesome, right? And that's a guy that was kind of.
Well, and I mean, how fast did he come back from being like burger after burger to banger after banger? Like, he came out that first week, he was kind of still a little pudgy in the front.
Called him a little early or something like that, right?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, you could tell he went on the Ozempic or something, and he lost weight immediately, and just the guy looks fantastic now. I always love seeing him, though, mixing it up with guys like Breakker, because Breakker's got the major spray tan going on, and then you just have white meat guy coming into it's just it makes the guys with the spray tan look so foolish when they're in there with Sheamus. It really does.
I just love how Sheamus is so humble and down to earth, right? And he's just, I don't know, he's really grown on me as that veteran, and I hope he will get. I'm pretty sure he'll get a IC title run. They presented it as such a big deal. I just don't think it'll come now. I feel that maybe Ludwig could pull one out and maybe perhaps steal one from Sheamus, and then Breakker would be like, what the hell? And what else did you say Breakker might have coming his way? Or was that Gunther?
Well, I have a feeling that Gunther may lose the championship to Damian Priest. And then that kind of goes down that trajectory, because they've done a really good job. I know we're not talking about that match in this, but they've done a really good job of presenting Damian Priest as an actual credible threat. And much like Bron Breakker's IC title run has been like anything can happen, I feel like Gunther is at that point where anything can happen. He lost to Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel. He's definitely
spiral down. Yep.
Yeah. And, and I think maybe then they've done a really good job of presenting Damian Priest as kind of like this big threat to him. I think Gunther could possibly lose that championship, and he's going to win the Rumble, and he's going to challenge Cody at Mania. And that's
to get his win back.
And that's going to be the match at Mania. And that's the marquee matchup. That's the marquee. However, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw, and that's what I kind of loved about that Jey Uso run, is it was a quick run. I don't consider it hot potato. I consider it like giving a guy a chance to be on TV and have kind of like a spotlight for a couple of weeks. Wouldn't surprise me if at Saturday night's main event, Kevin Owens does something and beats Cody for like a few weeks or something like that.
Yeah, I'm down with that for sure as well.
And then maybe Cody wins it back at the Rumble or something like that. Shit happens, and I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's a good opportunity to keep people interested. They want to have this big push going into Netflix and all that, and having everything kind of change. And I think 2025 might be a big year for the E. I mean, continuing the big year for the E, but I think there's a lot of changes. The only thing I'm concerned with is they pull the trigger too soon on Breakker and let him drop the IC belt and have him win the Rumble. He's not ready for that yet. He's not. Maybe the 26 Rumble, maybe. Maybe he doesn't even need to win the Rumble. Scott Steiner never won the Rumble, and he became one of the biggest names in the sport. So there's a possibility there.
Yeah, I would like the dynamic to go down your Gunther losing road if Ludwig were to win this, and then the roles kind of reversed, where Ludwig is the champion and Gunther is not a lackey, because it would be like he's still a bigger star and leader of Imperium, right? But more of a kind of like calling the kettle black type of moment, right? So I would be interested in that dynamic, and I think that'd be a really cool twist. And I think that would play into Gunther's kind of spiraling as people around him. His I don't want to call Ludwig a lackey, because he's more than that eventually, right? But Gunther's quote unquote lackey or understudy, right, has grown and gained success under Gunther's push. And now Gunther's down spiraling. How does it react to? Because not that Gunther needs layers, but I think that anything you give Gunther, he will make work for sure.
And I almost thought that there could be something where maybe, Ludwig wins the IC belt and he costs Gunther the world title. And then you have this, but I don't know if Gunther would.
I don't think they're ready. He's not ready for that.
Yeah, he's not going to go back to being to fighting Ludwig. But I like the idea of having this, almost how they kind of had at the beginning when Damian Priest won the world title, and he wasn't really the mainstay of the Judgment Day. Because I think still at that point, they were still pushing Finn to be kind of like the leader of that.
They're all equals, so kind of.
But they're all equal. Yeah, but then he became, El Campeón and everything. And then that became the thing where he was like the bigger guy. So I like that. I think that's a good idea. It's good when you have the second in command gets the championship and the top dog doesn't have anything. And then they're kind of like, what the hell's going on? But they've done that a lot throughout the years. So I don't know if they're going to continue that. I mean, they could. Wouldn't be the first time they pull back an old trope, but I love it. I think this is going to be, as much as I would be okay with seeing a change, I think it's going to probably be Bron Breakker at the end.
Yeah, most likely. I think
and that's okay.
We kind of determined that early in the preview, but we wanted to go down a rabbit hole of each end to see what it would look like if either guy would win.
Absolutely. But I'm okay with it if either guy wins, because again, I think that it's something where either guy wins, you definitely only maybe Ludwig holds on to it a little bit longer than say Sheamus would. But I think if Sheamus was to win it, I think that Bron Breakker would win it back real quick, and it would have just this other thing. And then next thing you know, he's what, a 3-time Intercontinental champion? that's not bad. I mean, he's had a couple of blips here and there. Everybody can lose, any given Sunday, that kind of thing. Or now any given Saturday now.
Saturday afternoon, more likely.
Right.
So, all right, Keithy. Well, that's that. And once we get to 2024 on Chronoso, I'm sure you can pick this match and review it then.
I will. Absolutely. I'll be what, 75 by that point?
Oh, who the fuck knows? All right, brother. Thank you for jumping on and doing this with me. That was fun.
Absolutely.
See you guys.